Namaskar, this is Chandramouli, and today I am here to take you to the process of noting in government offices. Note means the remarks recorded on a case to facilitate its disposal. It includes a passage of previous paper, a statement or analysis of the questions requiring decision, suggestions regarding the course of action, and final orders passed thereon. A note recorded by Minister, Prime Minister, President, and Vice President is called minute. The other one related term is running summary of fact. Running summary of facts should invariably be submitted when the file is put up to the minister. Now, why note is essential? Note is essential because it facilitates, ensures comprehensive examination. It provides written record of decision taken and their justification. Justification means on what basis a particular decision have been arrived at by the government. And senior officers are dependent upon the views of the team members. And noting constitutes proof of approval orders by the competent authority. It ensures consistency of approach. The government should come up with similar solutions for similar problems. There should be a consistency. It also provides historical and evidential material. Guidelines for good noting. The noting is for internal purposes, for arriving at a decision, and generally it is started by assistant or it can be started at any level. It should be concise and to the point. It should be coherent, means one paragraph lead to the other paragraph. There should be a coherency. All the fact mentioned in the note should be correct. The style should be direct. It should be on the note sheet. Note sheet is a green color A4 size paper. Earlier it used to be legal size, but now it is in A4 size. Note should always be in temperate language. Even if we are criticizing anybody or any particular thing, it should be in the temperate language. A reproduction of remarks by superior officers should also be there. Note should be focused on the subject matter. Whatever we are considering that particular case, note should be related to this. It should be divided in serially numbered paragraphs. Serial number helps us in referencing sometime on the other pages. We may have sectional note if a particular problem has different components. A sectional note can be written which tackles one problem at a time. It should be visually attractive, means the font, the margins should be appropriate. What should be avoided while we are putting up note? So there should not be verbosity of language. Long and complicated sentences should be avoided. If rules and regulations which are readily available with the officer or in the books, it should not be reproduced. Intemperate language should be avoided. Verbatim reproduction of FR or PUC to be avoided. No repetition of running summary of facts. Sometimes we tend to write the verbatim reproduction of FR. Whatever is written in the problem, we just put it up on the note. It is not required. There should not be any bias while putting up note. It should be fair. When we start note, there are certain things which we need to ensure before. Like the initiator of note should be very clear that all the facts presented in the note is clear, is correct, and there is no chance of any misconstruction. If he finds that there is some misstatement either by the sender of the proposal or through other offices, he should make that thing clear before initiating the note. What to write in a note? In the note, we should draw attention to the legal position, precedent, and convention to the particular case. That there may be, this case might have been tackled by the department earlier. So we should write that what happened in that case. And if it requires some legal position, we should know what legal thing is involved in this matter. And we should furnish the relevant information and state the questions which are required to be answered by the process, and what are the decisions required. We can, the note should suggest the alternative courses of action. One particular problem can be tackled in many ways, and there could be multiple solutions. All those solutions should be evaluated, and one particular solution could be suggested. And the justification should be given that why that particular suggestion has been suggested. And we have to also mention who is the competent authority to approve that particular proposal. Last para of the note generally brings out what decision is required. How much noting is required? There are different situations, there are different cases, and there is no uniformity in the quantum of noting. There are ephemeral cases where no noting is required and straight away it can be answered to. There are routine and repetitive cases, and all the sections or all the offices deals with certain repetitive nature of work. In this situation, a standard process sheet should be developed. A standard process sheet is a skeleton of note with the checkpoints which are required for assessing that particular thing. We come across many standard process sheets like GPF advances, our medical forms. These are basically our TA forms. These are basically standard process sheet. In correspondence cases where a reply has to be given to a particular group or to a particular individual, in that case a brief note can be written and straight away draft can be put up. There are some problem solving cases. There is a problem like environmental problem, pollution problem. In such cases, detailed noting is required, and maybe we have to consult with different other organizations, and our noting should also include that which organizations have been consulted upon and what are their views on this particular subject. Then there is policy and planning cases. These are the cases which require thorough examination by stating problems, supplementing with required information, quoting rules and policies, precedents, critical analysis, and concluding with the proposed policy. Docketing. Docketing in the note is identifying, it is written in the margin of the note, and it identifies the correspondences received or issue for its identification. The remarks recorded on the body of the received by higher officers are also reproduced in the note. That is called docketed remarks. While we are putting up the note, there is a particular order in which papers should be arranged while submitting a case. You can see it, there are many things. Note portion of the current file ending with the note for consideration should be at the top. And the correspondence, the side, it should be the last correspondence, it should be on the top. All the pages should be serially numbered in the file, and it can be arranged in this way. Referencing. Referencing is the process of identifying document, decision, and facts mentioned in a note, draft, or office copy of communication issued. It involves a series of activities. These are described below. Like we have to give page number to every page, then we have to give serial number to every item of correspondence, and flagging is required. Sometimes we refer to archived files also. Sometimes we refer to guard files. These are also to be identified while doing the referencing. PUC and file. It is a related paper. PUC is paper under consideration on which we are discussing, on which a note is being put up, and it can be received pertaining to a case. The consideration is the subject matter of the case. File. File is a very important word in the government offices. A file means a collection of papers on a specified subject matter and assigned a file number. File number is very important to identify later on, to retrieve, to locate where is the file in the office. And it consists with correspondence, notes, appendix to correspondence, appendix to note. Cases, gradings. Case, a current file or receipt together with other related papers is called a case. Security grading is secret, top secret, and urgency grading is priority, immediate, parliament matters. So when we are dealing with these issues, a proper security grading, proper urgency grading has to be assigned, and it can be reviewed at different stages. Then comes the modification of notes. In modification of notes, senior officers should not require modification of note. If they are not satisfied with the views of the dealing hand or other officers who have noted upon, they should write their own notes giving the reason for dissatisfaction, and they should mention the other facts. Pasting over note is also not allowed because it is treated as the mutilation of records, and it should be avoided. In cases where the outcome of earlier noting has been communicated to the other party and the note requires to be changed for any reason, in that case, the approval of the officer one step ahead should be taken to change the decision. The noting is also done on the files received from other departments. There can be various situations. In some situation, a very simple information may be asked with a clear precedent or practice. In such case, there is no need of noting, and dealing hand can straight away write the note and return the file. But there can be cases where the views of the receiving department is solicited. In this case, if the matter is very sensitive, we can have a routine notes, and then the final decision should be put up on the file of the other department. And in cases where the approval of higher officers, ministers have been obtained, it should be mentioned in the interdepartmental note, like approval of foreign secretary has been obtained or minister has approved this proposal. This should be mentioned. Interdepartmental reference should not be made below the rank of undersecretary. In such cases, a specific request, when we are sending the files to other department, we should clearly spell out what are we required, what do we require. And if we have to issue a draft, issue a correspondence with that, like a sanction or letter to a particular government body or constitutional body, then that draft should also accompany while seeking the opinion of the other departments. In cases where two or more departments are required to be consulted, this can be done simultaneously if it doesn't involve copying a lot of papers. Initiating department can recall the file at any time. One other thing is noting under single file system. It generally happens with non-secretariat organization located in Delhi. For example, we can take ICCR and the Ministry of External Affairs. So if ICCR is putting up a proposal which is beyond their delegated powers, they can send the file to the ministry, and officers in the ministry can write note on those files like it is their own file. In cases where sensitive decisions are involved, in that cases only the routine notes can be organized and the final outcome can be written on the file. Thank you. Pranam.